Hey guys, good morning. How are we doing? Morning, Mohammed. All right. So we're going to be talking a little bit about nutrition and about diet, and yeah, and then of course we're going to do the live in the evening at 6 p.m. with today's going to be functional. But it's important to also know about what to eat, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of you have a lot of different questions to ask when it comes to eating and what to eat, what time to eat, what to eat before a workout, what to eat post a workout. Is intermittent fasting all right? What about low carbs, or what about a ketogenic diet and all that kind of stuff? So, of course, it's not possible to get everybody on the live at this particular time because you're at work or in a different time zone. But please make sure that you watch this video. I'm going to try and cover as much as possible, and I'm going to keep it very simple for you to understand. And after that, if you have any questions, you can DM me. You can put it out, put your comments out on this IGTV, and yep, I'll answer those questions. And hopefully, we can get rid of all the doubts that you have when it comes to food. Okay, so let's talk about food. Let's talk about calories now. I'm pretty sure you guys must have heard a couple of reels that I've made in the past where yes, calories is a word which is used by the entire nutrition industry, but what calorie basically means is energy, and calorie is measured in the form of energy. Now, when you consume food, you're consuming energy. So, for to keep things simple and to take you away from the whole concept of calories, just so that you don't get too caught up in the whole thing and start worrying about 50 calories, 60 calories, all that kind of stuff, we're going to call it energy and we're not going to call it calories anymore. So, when you consume food, you basically are consuming energy. When you are awake, when you are doing any activity, you are burning energy. And of course, besides the daily activities that you do, which is working, walking, brushing your teeth, showering, climbing downstairs, going to work, talking to people, even sitting and lying down, you're still burning energy. And besides this, when you do your workouts, or you go for an additional walk, a conscious walk, then you're burning a little bit more energy than what you would do normally. So BMR, your basic metabolic rate, is basically the amount of energy you burn during the day, keeping aside the factor of exercise. That is considered as additional energy burnt. All right. Now, every food has different properties. Every food is different. So, when it comes to energy or giving you energy, every food responds in a very different way. All right. So, it becomes very difficult for, like I said, back I'd made a reel where it's so weird because the same food, and I keep taking the example. I mean, you can take an example of any vegetable, but let's say a banana, for instance. A banana grown in a different part of the world, okay, will have different calorie content. And if you go and see any app, you will see that every app has a different calorie assigned to that particular food. So at the end of the day, you even start asking, well, which app should I follow? You know, there is always a little bit fluctuation. No one's ever going to get an exact amount of calorie content of a particular food, but what we can do is again refer it to in terms of energy. What you also got to understand is that if there are two people of the same height, same weight, okay, male or female, same gender, but they live in a different country, different environment, their activity is different, their health is different, their fitness levels are different, but aesthetically, if you see them, you think they're two identical people. The food or an 1800 calorie, for example, if I have to calculate the calorie based on a formula given online, then and it comes up to say 1800 calories, then those 1800 calories, if I give it to two people, those two particular people, the 1800 calorie will react very differently in both of them. It also depends if somebody's veg, somebody's non-veg, if someone's having more milk, someone's not having milk, someone's having more meat, someone's not having meat. So all of this really depends. So you can't really say that, all right, I'm giving you 1800 calories, but those 1800 calories are mainly coming from vegetables, then it's going to be a problem. Okay. Or if I give you 1800 calories and that 1800 calories is coming mainly from meat and fat, then of course that's also going to be very different. So technically you cannot depend on a set calorie measurement for yourself, whether it is to lose weight or it is to gain weight. But what you can do, yes, calculate using the formula what you basically need to eat. Okay, so say for example, if you put in your formula and your result comes to 1800 calories, not a problem. Only for that one particular time you will take into consideration that 1800 calories and you will eat accordingly. Now from then on, what I want you to do is, instead of measuring calories every meal, I want you to log in your food. And even if you don't, all right, even if you don't take calories into into context, and if you are not counting those calories, you're still eating food every single day. Now, whatever you're eating, you're either making progress or you're not making progress. So let's start with that. What I want you to do is, starting from today, I want you to log in your food. I want you to log in the quantity and what you're eating in a diary, only for 10 days. Okay, so whether it's breakfast, it's your pre-workout meal, it's your lunch, it's your snack, it's your dinner, doesn't matter. Whatever it is that you're eating, you will log it in with the quantity. Quantity is easy. I'm not going to go into grams. You're just basically going to calculate one bowl. That bowl in your house is going to stay the same. It's not like that bowl is going to change every single day. Okay, 2 toast. Normally, I'm pretty sure you would get the same brand of bread. So a little bit 1920 here and there is absolutely fine. But you'll say 2 toasts, 2 eggs, 5 almonds. Okay, 1 bowl of dal or 1 bowl of sabji, maybe a bowl and a half of rice or 1 roti. When you are consistent and you are eating in a routine, it becomes very easy for you to start making changes. And because you're eating home cooked food, it becomes very easy to monitor that. Remember, once you do this, what will also happen is you will get used to seeing and judging the quantity of food that you put on your plate. Then tomorrow, whether you've gone to your friend's house or you've gone out to a restaurant, no matter where you are, you will be able to judge that this is the amount of food that you need to consume. Now, after you've logged in your food for 10 days, of course you're going to do your weigh-in, your tape measure before the 10 days, and then you're going to do it after the 10 days. If there is progress, you're not going to change the quantity of food that you're eating. It's going to stay exactly the same till we reach a point where your body hits a plateau and we need to tweak things around. If you are not seeing results, if you're not seeing any progress, then I want you to tweak the quantity of food. Now remember, when you're tweaking the quantity of food, you're going to take very small cuts, very small deficit from every meal. For example, if your breakfast meal or your first meal is 3 eggs, 2 pieces of toast, 10 almonds and a cup of tea, what I want you to do over here is your eggs. Okay, now remember one more thing. Whenever we are tweaking our quantity or are tweaking a portion size, I do not want you to reduce the protein. Your protein content will always be the same, if not higher. it will definitely not go down. What you're going to cut down is the carbs and the fat a little bit. So over here, instead of 2 toasts, I want you to start eating 1 toast. Instead of 10 almonds, I want you to probably drop to 5 almonds. Okay, that's all the change you're going to make. Because remember, if we take 10 days into consideration, every meal you're going to remove a little bit. So now from your lunch meal, from one bowl, say if one bowl has maybe 10 tablespoons of dal or whatever, I want you to make it 6. Okay, so you'll fill up that bowl, but you'll only pour a little bit. You'll cut out a little bit. You'll cut out a little bit of vegetables, very tiny, maybe just 1 tablespoon of vegetables, and maybe 2 tablespoons of rice is what you will reduce. When you do this over a period of 10 days, every meal matters. At the end of 10 days, you have removed a very significant amount of food from your diet. You're not gone into a very big deficit. You've just literally removed 1 tablespoon here, 1 tablespoon there. That's about it. I guarantee you that now, after 10 days, when you follow this diet, follow this portion size, next 10 days you will 100% see a change. Okay? Now when you see a change, I want you to keep the portion size constant and keep following that same thing till you reach a plateau. But remember, if you are only going to reduce the portion size, but you're not going to work on your activity level or your workouts, you might not see as greater changes as you really want to see. So even when it comes to workout, give it your best. You're training for an hour, do it at a good intensity, lift heavy weights, alright, give it your best, whatever the best is according to you. For those of you trying to lose a little bit extra body weight or body fat, remember, don't get greedy, okay? We're trying to reach a very healthy level. For those of you trying to lose a little bit more, what I want you to do is add 10 minutes of walking 2 to 3 times a day. So this 10 minutes of walking can be after your lunch, after snack, after dinner, or it can be 30 minutes at one go, depending on your lifestyle and depending on how much time you have. If you can wake up in the morning and straight away get those 30 minutes out of the way, then beautiful, nothing like it. If not, that's okay. You can basically do it either 10 minutes before your workout, 10 minutes after your workout, okay, and kind of divide it during the day. There's enough research which is there online that basically suggests that doing 10 minutes of cardio or 10 minutes of walk 3 times a day is better than doing it at one go, which is 30 minutes. So accordingly, I want you to change and add a little bit more activity as well. Promise me one thing, that you're going to stop seeing your watch when it comes to how many calories you've burnt after your workout, how many calories you've burnt at the end of the day, how many steps you've taken at the end of the day. The only reason I want to take you away from that is because there's already so much going on in our mind. There's so much things about work that's happening in your mind. You're always trying to do something different. The deadlines you want to follow. At home, there's so many things happening. You got kids, you got family. There's so much that you need to think about. And then on top of that, exercise and nutrition, which was supposed to be kind of easy and free flowing, has also become very, time consuming and mind consuming. What we need to understand is that recovery, the mind plays a very big aspect when it comes to recovery and repair and growth. The body learns to heal or knows how to heal itself. The body knows how to respond to the best of its ability when it's allowed to do so. And that's why sleep is considered as the best time when your body learns to heal, repair, and grow. Now, why does that happen? Because during sleep, you're not doing much, you're not consciously thinking, even though you've got dreams happening, there's no conscious mind activity happening. So, and those people who don't have dreams and sleep really well, you will ask them and you will know that their immunity is great, their repair and their recovery is amazing from their workouts. They wake up really fresh. So if we can try, I know we cannot do that while we're awake, but if we can try and minimize that by small steps, and those small steps would include not worrying about your heart rate monitor, not worrying about your calories, not worrying about how many steps you've taken. Try and minimize the influence of technology and try and minimize the effect of all this that's happening on our mind. And I promise you, you will see results much faster, because I'm pretty sure that at the end of the day, you want to see progress. There are a few people who are already at their peak when it comes to health, when it comes to fitness, but there are a lot of people who still want to get there. And if getting there means that you need to get rid of some of these small things, then please do that. All right? It's only going to get you closer to your goal. You need to understand that. Otherwise, why are we even doing that? What's the point of struggling and pushing ourselves and doing all these workouts, following a nutrition plan, and still not being able to get those goals? It's just that in the moment of checking your calories and checking your heart rate, you get really excited. Oh, I burned 500 calories today. Oh, I burned 300 calories. Oh, I did my 15,000 steps. But what's the point if those things are not leading anywhere? So let it go. It will do its job. Your body will do what is necessary. Simple, very simple example I like giving people. When you wake up in the morning and you brush your teeth, you brush just once or maybe twice a day. Once at the night before sleeping and once in the morning when you wake up. During the day, do you even think, oh, what's happening to my teeth? Oh, I'm going to eat a sweet right now. I hope it's not stuck. Oh, did I brush properly? Did I spend enough time? Oh, no, you don't think about any of that. You do the movement, you do the action that is required, and then you let it be. The body looks after itself. The teeth, basically, whatever needs to get done gets done. Same way, treat exercise and nutrition exactly the same. When you need to exercise, you exercise and then let it be. You've done your duty, you've done your job for the day, you've exercised, you've given it your best. That's all that you can do. Worrying about how many calories you've burned, worrying about how many steps you've completed is not going to get you any closer to that goal. You've shocked the nervous system, you've fired up the hormones, your protein synthesis is now happening, your fat is getting burned, your heart rate is high, so your metabolism is kicking in. All that is happening without you even thinking. All right? You don't need to give it a second thought. You don't need to worry about it. The body is doing what it needs to do. So let it be. Don't interfere in it by, again, crowding your mind with things that are not necessary. Same thing with food. When you're sitting to eat, yes, before you sit down to eat, you prep your meals. So you know how much rice you have. You've portion size. You have it right. That's all right. Now sit and enjoy your meal. All right. Whether you're sitting with your family members or you're sitting with your co-workers or your kids, doesn't matter. You're sitting by yourself. Enjoy the meal. Every meal, you should be thankful. Every meal should be an actual enjoyment. I am not kidding. I will never eat a meal which I cannot enjoy. I'm never gonna eat boiled chicken. I'm not eating boiled vegetables. What's the point? I don't want to be immune to the lovely food, the taste, the flavors. I love having all of that. So if I'm going to sit down and eat, I'm going to make sure that everything else is put aside and I enjoy my meal. Whether it's just paneer and bajre ki roti or it's a burger or a pizza, does not matter. It does not matter. But sit down and enjoy your meal, and then again, once your meal has gone in, the digestion happens by itself, the absorption happens by itself, the carbs do what is necessary, the protein does what is necessary, everything takes care of itself. So you don't need to worry. All right? Get on with the day and do what is necessary. All right? So I hope that aspect of food you've kind of understood, and that aspect of nutrition you've understood. Now, just to give you a little idea about what is protein, what is carbs, what is fat. Everybody already knows it. It's all over the internet. Protein is basically something that helps your muscles grow, okay, which helps in repair. It's very necessary for survival. Protein is basically amino acids. When you eat protein, your body breaks it down in the form of amino acids. Amino acids go into your muscles and build a bond, and then they grow. Protein also requires energy to burn. So whenever you eat protein, your body is burning more energy. All right. Therefore, your metabolism is higher, and therefore you burn more fat as well. Remember, when I'm saying you burn more fat, it doesn't mean that if you're going to eat 100 grams more protein in every meal, suddenly you're going to look all buff and you're going to lose body fat overnight. No, it's all a process. There are small steps to it, and there are a lot of different factors that come to it. Everything must align itself for you to see your progress. But this is one aspect of it. Carbs, on the other hand, protein. If you're vegetarian, not a problem. You got milk, you got paneer, you've got whey, you've got, of course, there are dal and lentils and all seeds. But when it comes to plant protein, or when it comes to protein sources from plants like beans and lentils, yes, they do have protein in them, but the quality of protein and the quantity of protein is not as much as you would find in animal sources. So even if you're vegetarian, try to eat more paneer. And of course, if you're following a vegan diet, nothing against vegan diet, but I hope that you're following because it's necessary for you. Because milk doesn't suit you, then it's a different thing. If you're following it because your best friend is following it, or the actor or actress who you kind of look up to are following it, and they've just said, oh, do a vegan diet, then think twice. Do what works best for you. You know your body better than anybody else. In fact, your body knows itself better than even you know it. So just try to kind of get in sync with your body and do what's necessary and what's needed. All right, so plant protein is great, but you need to make sure that if you're having just dals and lentils, you might not be covering enough, or you might not be getting enough protein from your meals. So then definitely add a plant protein powder, and make sure that so when you read online, there are different measurements or different ideas. People say that you should consume at least 2 grams of protein per kg, or 1 gram per pound. Again, this is something which is just there. Bodybuilders have kind of followed it. They've not followed it. People have seen results not following these numbers as well. These, I would say, are just benchmarks. Okay, so treat it as a benchmark. Start with the number which is recommended online, which is probably 1 gram per pound. For women, that gets very difficult to eat. So even if you're having, say, 1 gram of protein per kg, then that's also fine. Monica, how are you? All right. So that is also fine. Start with that. So say if you weigh 60 kgs, you're a female, I would say start with at least 60 grams of protein in the whole day. See how you go, see how well it digests. If you need to take in a little bit more, then definitely add in a little bit more protein to it. But otherwise, start with the benchmark number and then kind of tweak things around. Also, one more thing, if you are overweight, you're clearly not going to have 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. That's going to be a lot. You need to kind of figure out what is your lean muscle mass. Once again, start with the benchmark number. Like say, there are definitely, if you go to gyms, there are ways of, they've got those machines where it calculates your lean muscle mass, and then multiply your lean muscle mass by grams of protein and you'll get your protein. Okay. Zia, yes, you can get enough protein from eggs and vegetables as well. If you're intolerant to dairy, that's not a problem. Then of course paneer and milk is out. You can have your eggs, you can have your vegetables, you can also get sources of plant protein. There's an amazing plant protein in the market which I have been having recently. It's by a company called Cure Veda. It's a CUREVEDA. You can message me later, DM me. I'll send you the contact number for the person and they can help you with the protein as well. All right. So that is about basically protein, and then carbs. Carbs are, got to understand, carbs are not an enemy. We keep saying that over and over again. Carbs is very essential for the body. It just depends on what kind of carbs you're eating and at what time you're eating. So you got carbs which are simple carbs, which basically means that when they go into the body, they break down really quickly into your bloodstream. All right. Complex carbs are those carbs like whole grains, jawar, bajra, ragi, nachni, all these carbs, which take time to break down into the body, and they basically release much slowly and over time. So the energy that you get from carbs, from complex carbs, happens more throughout the day, whereas simple carbs are the ones that, like fruits for example, okay, they will release energy much faster into the body. Now, complex carbs are really good for you. Simple carbs are also very good for you. So I want you to make sure that in your breakfast there is some form of complex carbs, like you can have oats, you can have upma, you can have poha. This is of course if you're vegetarian. If you're non-vegetarian, it doesn't really matter. You can still have oats and stuff. For your lunches, try to remove or try to replace your regular chapatis or regular rotis with jawar, bajra, ragi, nachni, the whole grains. Rice is absolutely fine, but try not to mix the rice along with the roti. So either have rice or have roti, don't mix the two. Dinner, same thing. So normally I have my jawar or bajra rotis in the afternoon, and then I'll have my rice at night. Okay. Now, one more thing, when the timing. So what you need to understand is that if you know that your metabolism is not that quick and you do end up saving away energy, then I want you to make sure that whenever you're working out, your meal before your workout and the meal after your workout is high in your major source or major portion of carbohydrates. The rest of the day can be a little bit lower. So if you're working out in the morning or in the afternoon, then definitely your breakfast and your lunch will be high in carbs. Your snack and dinner can be much lower in carbs. Okay, it's as simple as that. Don't think of it too much. Don't make it too complicated. After, if you want to have simple carbs, make sure you have your simple carbs after your workout, because that is the time that the nutrients need to go into the muscle much quickly. So you have some fruit along with your protein shake or something. That will always work. So if you're having fruits and you love fruits, try and have your fruits after your workout rather than, and even if you want them before, you can still have them just as your pre-workout meal. Have your fruits, energy is there, you'll have a great workout, and therefore it works. Fat, again, since we're not doing a ketogenic diet, and that is something that I do not want to encourage you to do, I want you to keep your fat to minimal, just the amount of fat which is basically needed to make your meals, to cook your meals, whether it's ghee, whether it's extra virgin olive oil, if you're using coconut oil, that's also fine. Nuts is absolutely okay as long as you're not having nuts throughout the day. Breakfast, 10 to 15 almonds, 10 to 15 total nuts is more than enough. You don't need to have anything more than that. Besides this, of course, a lot of people ask about intermittent fasting. My take on intermittent fasting is that basically, if it suits your lifestyle and takes your mind away from the thought of food, then intermittent fasting will work. But also the thing with intermittent fasting is that intermittent fasting plays around with an eating window and a fasting window. Technically, when we are sleeping, every single human being is already doing at least 10 to 12 hours of intermittent fasting. If you're going to eat your last meal at 9 p.m. and then wake up, do your workout and eat your meal at maybe 10 or 11, then you've done a good 13 hours, 14 hours of intermittent fasting. 10 hours is also good. All right, yes, if you want to stretch it out to your 16-8, then I would say start off slow. Don't straight away jump to 16 hours. Okay, maybe start with 10, then go to 12, then go to 14, and then go to 16. Another thing with intermittent fasting is that you need to keep it random. You need to keep changing the hours of your fasting. All right, some days it's 10 hours, some days it's 14 hours, some days it's 16 hours, which means you're playing with the eating window. So some days 8, some days 6, some days 10. Because otherwise, what will happen is if you keep a consistent routine with your intermittent fasting, your body will soon adapt and will stop responding. All right, so that also needs to keep changing, and it needs to be very erratic when it comes to the eating window. But also remember one thing: eating window does not, 8 hours or 6 hours of eating window does not mean that you're having only one meal. All right, you basically need to consume the same amount of food that you were doing on a regular day, but within those 6 hours. Of course, it'll be significantly less or maybe a little bit less than what you would normally eat, but the idea is to eat a good amount of food in those 6 hours. So it can either be one meal or it can be 2 meals, not necessarily 3 meals, but make sure that you're eating properly, because once again, we don't want to go into a major calorie deficit. That has its drawbacks, and that's something we don't want to do. I think besides that, we've kind of covered pretty much everything. I think we've covered the main aspect, which is logging in your food and knowing how much food is good for you, how much food you need to consume and what time you need to consume, the kind of foods that you can consume. If you have any more questions, please DM me or just comment over here. One more thing, I always keep saying, try and create a routine for your food and try and be consistent with your food. It just makes life very easy. I mean, the simpler the food, just the easier it is. It's like everything else. The simpler the movements, the easier it is to follow, and therefore the easier it is to push yourself on the intensity aspect as well. So keep things simple. All right, it's not as complicated as people on Instagram and everywhere make it out to be. It's not as difficult to understand your own body. Everyone who's talking about nutrition and diet, including me, we're talking about basic guidelines which you should try and follow. At the end of the day, what works for you, you know best. All right, some people, you're not going to find two people who are going to follow the same nutrition and have the same results. No, one is going to show better results than the other, because everyone's body is unique and everyone responds in a very different way when it comes to food and nutrition. Same thing when it goes for the workouts as well. Of course, over here I cannot give you customized plans, but the way we do it with the functional aspect, with the weights aspect, your body might respond very well to heavy weights and lesser repetition, so go for that. And some people might respond very well when it comes to lighter weights and more repetition. So figure out what works for you and just have a ball. Hope this video helps, guys, and like I said, I'm always there for you. If you have any questions, DM me, comment, and we'll see you in the evening at 6 p.m. for today's functional workout. Take care and have a beautiful day. See you guys. Bye-bye.